All right. Well, before we're going to make mockery of this week's SmackDown in just a second, and there may even be an update from the Ring of Honor pay-per-view here in a second as we go on. But we didn't, when we talked about the AEW event a few minutes ago, we didn't talk about the ratings. And I know that they had already floated that Spectrum problem, which some people may have had. I didn't at the first. I did at the end. But still, we have ratings. What story do they tell?
The overall number for this past week, Dynamite, 840,000 viewers.
Ouch.
Down from last week, even.
So where did we start and where did we end up? And is there any evidence that massive numbers of people had a problem early in the program? Or was it because we didn't hear anything on a widespread deal about later in the program?
And again, I would also think that there's an issue after weeks and weeks of a certain type of TV. Certain people may be ready to tune out quicker, but let's go to the numbers here. The show opened 8 o'clock with a battle royal, 883,000 viewers.
Okay, that is quite a bit down from their normal starting point.
Segment 2, which was still the battle royal as well as the MJF Ricky Starks promo, that did 910,000 viewers.
Okay, so it's going up. Apparently, there weren't widespread technical problems in the first 15, 20 minutes of the show, or it would have gone down, not up.
Segment 3, the Jon Moxley promo that you decided not to review, and Samoa Joe versus Darby Allen, 845,000 viewers.
So we lost about 65,000 off of MJF.
Segment 4, 845, the end of the Samoa Joe Darby Allen match, as well as Orange Cassidy and Kip Sabian's confrontation, and the beginning of the Jericho Appreciators versus the Blackpool folks, 876,000 viewers.
So they managed to get 30,000 back up for basically the Jericho Appreciators match is what was the highlight of that quarter hour.
I don't know. I think Joe versus Darby may have been a bigger highlight for viewers. But we never could find out. That's just our opinions there. But the next segment, which was the 9 o'clock hour, I believe.
Yeah.
The end of that match, William Regal's explanation with Tony Schiavone that was lost on tape for 2 weeks. And then the House of Black's promo, 882,000 viewers.
So they're still hanging around there.
9:15, Jamie Hayter's interview, as well as Madison Rayne, Sky Blue, and Kiera Hogan versus Jade Cargill and the baddies of Red Velvet and Layla Gray, 772,000 viewers.
Ouch. And there was still audio when this match started for me, I'll tell you that. So that was 110,000 people said, fuck it.
The conclusion of that match, Britt Baker and Soraya's promo, and the beginning of FTR versus the Acclaimed, 769,000 viewers. And finally, the end of the match, the Acclaimed defeating FTR and the Gunn Brothers appearing to challenge them on behalf of the Briscoes, 784,000 viewers.
So they actually, apparently even without audio, or maybe I was the only one, they actually, for the first time in how many weeks or how many months, the last quarter hour was not the lowest rated part of the show. It was close, but they didn't lose. The 100 and some thousand people were run off by the girls' match instead of the 6-man circle jerk that they've been having. Because every time the Elite pop in, they lose 100 and something thousand people. This time they started with fewer, kept most of them until the girls got in there and stunk the joint out. And then FTR was actually able to bring 12,000 back by the time it was over with. And the Acclaimed.
If we are to read into this that the things happening system-wide and apparently, in your case, in different ways with Spectrum would result in issues with these numbers on this specific episode, the women lose viewers every single week, but you think the level of the drop, the 100,000, and the timing of maybe there were audio issues. Again, you're the first person I've heard say that. Could that have led into such a drop?
Well, they don't have audio issues every week, but they have that drop every week. So, I guess now the point is that they are starting out with fewer people than they were starting out with, and they're keeping more of those because there's fewer of them to begin with. I don't know whether that's good or bad, but they were only 100,000 down from the start of the program to the finish, and only 126,000 down from the highest point of the program, and that's better than normal, but they usually start out with a couple of 100,000 extras off the Big Bang. So maybe the Big Bang was more of a whimper this week. The best thing you can say is they kept more from start to finish than they have been, but there weren't as many of them. So I don't really know how that's positive. And, now I'm thinking there can't have been as widespread technical issues as some friendly journalists were leading us to believe, or elsewise this would have not only probably been worse, but all over the page. If everybody was seeing a freeze frame for the first 15 minutes, how did they still increase their viewership after that happened? People calling around saying, hey, you won't believe this. It's a fucking still frame on channel whatever. I don't know.
Well, that was AEW Dynamite. We'll see if they could buck the trend and hopefully have no issues with the coverage this next week, and we'll see what happens.